The Third Jewish Revolt was the final venture of disobedience by the Jews against a strong Roman domain. Albeit some see this defiance as minor in Roman history, it fundamentally affected Jewish history. These occasions changed the district's populace, eliminating Judea from the guide and making another locale called Palestine. In this video, we will investigate the occasions paving the way to this revolt and its ramifications for the Jews. Yet before we start, I might want to say thanks to Universe of Warships for supporting this video in the event that you appreciate exciting ocean experiences. Universe of Warships is for you is a free internet game accessible for PC where you can take part in legendary maritime fights with numerous different players each month. There are new updates including new ships and joint efforts with popular films and series like Poppy, Godzilla vs. Kong, and even Transformers with unbelievable designs and more than 40 restrictive guides. You'll feel like you're telling a genuine boat. You can pick between various kinds of boats. For example, ships, destroyers, cruisers, and even plane-carrying warships. You can play solo or join companions to shape a strong group. Best of all, Universe of Warships is additionally accessible on consoles, so you can play any place. So burn through no additional time. Download Universe of Warships currently involving the connection in the depiction, and during enrollment utilize the code BRAVO to get an astounding reward bundle, which incorporates 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, 7 days of premium record, and surprisingly, a select boat. Don't botch this open door. Download Universe of Warships now. The Jewish revolt drove by Barba was set off by the developing disappointment of the Jews under Roman rule in Judea, beginning from the very start of Hadrian's rule. What is going on of Jewish ranchers? Decayed, and the Roman government's endeavors to kill Jewish culture expanded. Strains raised when in 131 ruler Hadrian chose to fabricate the Roman province Aia Capitolina over Jerusalem, which turned into the prompt reason for the revolt, prohibition on circumcision, and the development of a sanctuary committed to Jupiter on the vestiges of the Jerusalem sanctuary. Likewise, enormously expanded Jewish disappointment, dissimilar to past revolts. The Jews decisively ready for this resistance, giving Hadrian time to fix how he had treated the sanctuary ruins in Jerusalem. A few moderate Jewish pioneers, for example, Rabbi, otherwise known as Ben Yosef, at first contained the revolt. Yet Hadrian's refusal to fulfill Jewish needs to eliminate the Jupiter sanctuary drove numerous Jews to line up with the extreme group during this readiness period. The renegades constructed burrows, proles, and safe houses all through Judea, braced vital positions, and put away weapons to start the conflict against the Roman powers. At the top of these dissidents was Simon Barba, who introduced himself as a messianic pioneer, shipped off end Roman mistreatment of the Jewish nation. His starting points in schooling are dubious, yet his tactical methodology abilities propose he could have been essential for the Jewish privileged Rabbi Akiva. Additionally, a head of the Sanhedrin started to completely uphold Bar Cba in driving the rebel against the Roman realm. Moreover, Achain, his name from Bara to Barba, meaning child of a star, which affected the Jewish nation to trust his administration and accept he could be their savior. Furthermore, Eleazar the cleric shows up on coins printed by the radicals, demonstrating his significance in initiative. His situation as esteemed minister and his association with coin stamping recommend a potential job in the strict common power of the revolt. The Jewish revolt drove by Bar Kba was a remarkable test to the force of the Roman realm. The Jews, with equipped initiative and extraordinary arrangements, ended up being considerable enemies against the Roman armies. The revolutionary powers, despite the fact that their definite number is questionable, numbered several thousands and utilized an assortment of hardware at first got from crushed Roman armed forces. Barba picked a guerrilla procedure astounding and ousting Roman posts, at first situated in Alia and later in Batar, arranging a delayed protection from draw in additional contenders, and staying away from huge scope, face-to-face conflicts. Information on the territory and the utilization of passages considered compelling ambushes and subverted the Roman army's will to battle. The underlying Jewish technique included shock assaults on Roman posts, taking advantage of the legionaries' versatility, while walking the strategy additionally included ambushes and shock assaults in the city. The underlying fresh insight about these assaults was misjudged by the Roman lead representative Titus Rufus, who considered the occasions as disengaged aggravations. Anyway, the revolt developed, making a dissident region and framing an autonomous state, as confirmed by coins printed observing Israel's recovery as the Jewish populace joined the recent Roman armies, including the 6th Army for Rada and the 10th Army for Tenses, were prepared to contain this danger. The underlying progress of this Jewish revolt brought about the arrangement of a dissident state in Judea. Titus Rufus, the Roman lead representative, riz the public strict philosophy behind the revolt. When Simon Boca was declared the savior by Rabbi Akiva, this prompted a restriction on open Torah lessons, and otherwise known as his execution. However, the precision of this story is unsure. The defiance enveloped wide areas of Judea, including the Judean slopes, the Judean desert, and portions of the Negev desert. Rufus confronted a critical piece of his area in the possession of the radicals, so he chose to demand help from ruler Hadrian. The sovereign sent separations and close-by armies to stifle the defiance. The 3rd G Army, the 2nd Tran Army, and the 3rd Saron Army were dispatched from Syria and Egypt. Anyway, when these fortifications showed up, it was pre-winter, finishing the tactical season. The renegades were feeling much better, as had the opportunity to plan for the following Roman counterattack: social occasions, supplies, sustaining positions, and building up their underground hideaways. This detente, the revolt, was perhaps used to reinforce the dissident government, drawing in more help, volunteers, and workers. Boca, now a self-broadcasted savior, confronted Roman strain in the spring of 133 and opposed steady assaults, despite the fact that there are no reports of significant fights. The radicals repulsed Roman powers, and their state persevered until 134 proceeded with progress, impacted trust in the steadiness of the agitator state, reflected in monetary action and nearby lawful matters. Additional Jews and individuals from different countries joined the reason, some sincerely, and others looking for individual addition for Bar Kokhba. The people who didn't uphold his disobedience was viewed as a danger. After the obliteration of the Second Sanctuary, Jewish pioneers might have involved the revolt as an appearance to manage Christians. The agitator province of Judea endured the 133 military season, yet clashes escalated in the colder time of year. Corinth sent huge fortifications, including separations from the 10th Army Gemena and the 12th Army for Menata, under the order of Sues Julius Severus. Different armies like the 5th Macedonian Army and the 11th Claudia Army likewise took part in the concealment. The Roman armed for a social event, around 60,000 men, mirrored the earnestness of the support to contain the Boca revolt, featuring the test looked by the renegades. The revolutionary armed force had a broad protection framework and an extensive battling force, assessed somewhere in the range of 100,000 and 200,000. Military tasks continued in 134, with Sues Julius taking Roman order. Roman strategies developed, zeroing in on assaults on more modest gatherings, confining renegades, and cutting their stock lines step by step, destroying the renegade power. The Romans led a fierce concealment during the revolt, executing many renegades. During 134, Roman armies strengthened their constraint and expanded their command over the territory of Judea. The radical base camp were moved to the fort of Barar, demonstrating tension on Barbar's authority in spite of the fact that there were indications of disintegrating attachment and discipline among the radicals. Life proceeded regularly for regular folks in Judea. In 135, the Romans restored their hostel, annihilating Herodium and progressing to the Judean slopes. The Romans blockaded the Beta fort, where numerous evacuees, including warriors and regular people, assembled. The attack went on until the mid-year of 135, when the Romans went after assaulting the city and sabotaging its guards. Boca drove the opposition, yet fatigue in Roman military prevalence brought about Beta's fall. In August of that year, the Romans slaughtered, unpredictably killing regular folks and contenders, including Kokhba himself, denoting the finish of the revolt. This third Jewish revolt was a vital occasion in history, despite the fact that it endured just 4 years. and evidently didn't cause significant changes in the Roman domain anyway. When we look near, we see that it had huge results. The revolt denoted the finish of the desire for modifying the Jewish sanctuary, prompting the change to rabbinic Judaism. After their triumph, Hadrian chose to rename the area recently known as the territory of Judea to Syria-Palestina. By doing this, he likely revived the old name of the district, which was Philistia, meaning the place that is known for the Philistines, and chose to join Syria with Judea to reduce the Jews' association with the region. After the loss, most Jews scattered all over the planet, and Judaism turned out to be more decentralized. The endeavor to make Judea liberated from Roman rule fizzled, and in the end most Jews acknowledged their destiny as a component of the Roman domain. So assuming you delighted in studying this last Jewish rebel against Rome, remember to like this video and buy into our channel.